Say hello, where you from, who is painting with you. It's taking a little long. It's not showing anyone. Oh, there we go. We got 6 people online, 12 people. That was a slow start. Hello, Robin, Abby, and Emma, Mom, and Donna from Vancouver Island. Welcome, welcome. Sandy is here from North Dakota. Hello. Let me just share this in my groups. How is everyone doing? Oh, Berta. Oh, now the messages is jumping. Hello, Raz is here. Or Roz, sorry. Brenda is here. Sarah is here. Is it Joni? Calgary, Alberta. I'm so excited to be back with you. It's been a while. Alabama says hello. Hello, Alabama. Hi, Angela. Barb is here. Rachel is here. Sherry is here. Brenda, Joe, welcome, welcome. Lynn from Arkansas. Sandy, it's been too long. I am well, thank you. So excited to paint tonight. I am so glad you are here and painting with. I still haven't shared the event. Hellos are important. Okay, let's go. Share to my group. There we go. And it's done. I'm a little late, so I haven't even poured paint yet. So you're going to need some blues for the sky. I'm going to start pouring my paint while I say my hellos. If you have any questions, ask away. If I missed one, please ask again. Hi, Lynn from Quebec. So I'm using phthalo blue for the skies, phthalo blue and some white for the sky and the clouds. And then for the green, I only have phthalo green tonight, so I'm going to use the phthalo green. So it's going to look a little different to this, but I'm going to add some yellow to it to change it up. So some green. So I would go blue and yellow to make some green, or you can add some actual green paint. You'll need a brown for the poles here. I use a black for the wire, and then all the colors you can think of for your flowers. So I have some poppies in front, some white little dabs, some red ones, some pink ones. Keep all your colors close by, I suggest. I think we'll need a lot of color. Lots of green. My titanium white. Beginner painter, how do you start collecting paint colors? Oh, I would start with black and white, red, yellow, and blue. And if you go into an art store, you can ask them for primary colors. That will make it possible for you to mix colors that you need. So I suggest red, yellow, blue, black and white. And then get yourself a little color ring. And you'll see your red, your yellow, and your blue. And the colors in between those, if you mix these, that's how you get the colors in between. So mixing blue with red gives you the purple colors. If you're mixing red with yellow, you get the orange colors. So if you have a color wheel, it shows you how to mix the colors. Fun, easy if if you have the primary color. So sometimes I hear people say, I mix my blue and my red and it's not giving me a pretty purple, or it's not giving me the purple I want. It's because you don't have the primary color. So with a primary, you can play a little with colors. Got some bright yellow. This is cadmium yellow. Use yellow. Got some blues. I got need my brown. For brown, I use burnt umber, but any brown that works for you. Remember, I do fun art, not fine art. We're gonna relax. We're gonna have fun. Brown, and I need a little bit of black. Right, I've got my white and my blue. I've got my greens. I've got my yellows. I got a red, and I'll pour the black a little later. Do you have your paint? And then for brushes, I'm just going to use these brushes. I might move to a hard bristle brush. We'll see how it goes. So I have my bigger filbert. I have a medium filbert and a small round brush. This is a size 12, a size 4, and I think this is a 2. Yeah, size 2 round. That's what I use for my little dabs for the flowers. That's it. You can use a bigger brush for the background. Sometimes I use one of those wide brushes. Where will I put this? I'm on a different setup tonight. Bring my stuff closer. How's everyone doing? Are you good? Have you painted a lot? Have you visited the website, the online school? If you enjoy these classes, I have an online school where you can buy individual classes, or you can sign up for a monthly membership. So it's 19 Canadian dollars a month, so about $15 and a few cents US. And you have access to more than 120 paintings. So lots of paintings to choose from. Yes, I actually can do it now. How long have we been up? For a little bit. There we go. And I'll move this way, like that. Los Angeles, California. Hello, Angel. Have you painted in a while with you? Excited to be back. Welcome back. There's a lot of people that's back today. What's up with that? I think it was such a busy start to the year and people are slowing down a little. All right, are you guys ready to start? I got busy and I'm just joining now. Got to get ready to paint. There you go. For the membership, it is for individual classes, the PayPal works, but the PayPal doesn't work for the monthly subscription. So if you have a credit card or a prepaid credit card, you can use that for the monthly prescription. Subscription, not prescription. Christine from Tabor, Alberta. Did I say hi to you? I can't remember. All right, so we start. I think we need to start. So bigger brush. So if you have a wide brush like that, it's all good. We're going to cover the background. I'm on a small 9 by 12 stretch, not a stretch canvas, canvas paper. I use my canvas paper and I use just some tape to stick it onto a normal stretched canvas. And later on, I'll just pull this off and then I just have these sheets. I get a lot of messages from people that do not want to collect all these canvases. So these canvas paper are absolutely amazing because I have stacks of paint taller than me in storage for all these canvases. Oh, I got a towel. I'm going to move this way and put my towel over there. All right, we're going to start painting. Sorry, hold on, I'm moving you. Don't worry about this piece here. I'll show you what I'm doing. Right, bigger brush. We're going to start with the sky. Take a deep breath, relax. We're here to have fun. we're going to start off with some blue paint. So my blue is really dark. So I go into the blue like this with my brush, into the blue, and then I'm grabbing a little bit of white paint. And when I start painting, see, it's not mixed, both colors on the brush. And when I start painting, I'll see if I need more white and if I need more blue. It's a neat way to start painting, especially if you're doing the background. It gives you a chance to play a little bit. So as you do this, we're going to get a little mindful tonight. Watch as keep an eye on how your paint is going onto your canvas. So have fun with these streaks and what you see. Just breathe and relax. This is not a competition. My painting is not going to look like this painting. It's not going to be the same. This painting is probably 6 or 7 years old. So I've been painting this one for many years, and my style of painting have changed over the years, and the way I want to do things have changed. When I paint the sky, I also like to have a little bit of a curve in my brush stroke. I've noticed you have painted with your left hand as well. So my first videos, the camera was rotated, so it looked like I painted left-handed. But I'm actually right-handed. But this weekend, I recorded myself painting this painting behind me, and I was painting with both hands. So, but most of it I do with my right hand. But sometimes I get tired, especially if I work on the big canvases, then I do a lot of brush strokes with the other hand. And you should try it. We had a woman who broke her arm. She had a paint night at my studio. I think it was her birthday. And she came in and we were doing the sailboats painting. And she decided to do it with her left hand. And she loved her painting. It was amazing to see her do the whole painting with her left hand. So if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, do that. So as I'm picking up paint, I'm just playing between the blue and the white. I like it much lighter on the horizon, and you're going to go about halfway down on your canvas. Don't forget to breathe, have fun. I'm going to go a little bit lighter. So now I'm just picking up some white paint. I'm going to just paint on top of this just to make it a little bit lighter here on the horizon. The more you move your brush, the more blended it will be, less movement, it will be more streaky. Just going to go with a wet brush on top of this just to blend it a little bit more. It's easy for me to do this on the canvas paper. I think it would be similar on the canvas, but sometimes when you leave it a little and start getting sticky, if you go with water over it, it doesn't really work that well. And if you're considering the paper, it does buckle a little bit. It looks worse on the camera than here, but that's how it buckles. And it's not hard to paint on it, so it does have a little bit of a curve in it or a bubble in it, but it's not that bad. If you're learning and you're having fun, this is okay. You'll be good. All right, so are you guys having fun yet? So what we're going to do here, just add some darker at the top, a little bit lighter, be loose, be streaky. If you want a closer look, you can see I have lots of streaks in there. I kind of like what it looks like. The buckle really, the bubbles really look much worse with the light on it than what it is for me when I paint. I don't feel it at all. And while you're doing that, I'm going to move on to the green here at the bottom. I start off with, I'm going to start off with this green. I have phthalo green. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to it. I want it to be a little bit darker. We'll see what it looks like. I might have to add some yellow to it. So I'm When I get here, I'm flicking up with my brush and I turned it this way just to create some grass back here, but we're going to do 2 coats. We're not going to do just 1 coat. And you can see it's really soft here how I do that. So much darker on this side. We're going to come back. It's going to be a few layers. And as I move this way, I want more yellow back there. So I'm not going to wash my brush. I'm picking up some yellow with this green. Flick up. So when you're flicking, you're putting it down and you're flicking up like that. If you're doing a drag, it's going to look like this. It's just going to stop. You're not going to get that little, those little finer lines that looks like grass. Flick, flick, flick. Brush, light green, and then I flick again with my brush. If you're getting marks like this, see where I put my brush down? Those little marks, it's part of the texture for the grass. So if you're getting it, don't fight it. It will turn into grass. See how it forms here? All of that becomes the grass. All you want to do, see the white in the background? You do want to cover that up. And I go right into this darker green here. I put some paint down and then I flick up with my brush. It's very dry in here. I need more water, more paint. Put the paint down like this and then flick up with your brush. If you have a fan brush with you, try using your fan brush here. So when you have all the paint down, use your fan brush to create those streaks. See how dark it is here? I'm going to do a second coat with darker green. If you don't have a dark green color, use some blue with some yellow to create a darker green. See these brush strokes? I'm going to turn it into grass. And you want different shades of green. This takes a little bit of time to do, but it's so fun to flick up with a brush like this. When I rub my brush in the areas like this, it's because I'm getting rid of white canvas that's showing up. The color looks very blotchy in the screen there. A little bit more green, yellow and green. And I want to go higher up on this side. See, this is, if I break it in half, it's about 1/4 of my canvas up where I do the lighter green. And then I go down again. And I lift it on this side too. See, the green goes up behind the pole here. So keep lifting it, keep doing these little brush strokes. This is the brush stroke I'm doing, flicking up and down. I'm picking up darker green, I'm picking up lighter green. When I say darker green, I've taken some blue into some green. So that's my darker, more medium greens here, and then where the yellow is. So just keep playing. If you find that your yellow paint is very translucent, you can mix a little bit of white into it. Here, I want to go high up again. It's like almost up to here with the green little grass. When you can go slightly angled, they don't have to be all straight up. Maybe there's a little bit of a wind. I make it much darker here at the bottom. If you're finding that your blue is not dark enough, you can always try a little bit of black, but do a test on your palette, because some paints, especially craft paints, have a lot of white in it, so it might go grayish. So you'll have to test it just to see. I like that. I drew with colored pencils a precious moment picture with my left hand. Right hand was in a cast. It's interesting, right, to do that. Yes, pastel class, we also drew with both hands. There was one time when I was drawing a puppy and I was really into drawing it. I was so into that when I picked up my head, I thought I was, it was break time. Oh, you thought they've gone outside. It's nice when they watch you drawing, right? And you're zoned out, you know nothing. King Kinney, you caught me live. Watching from Australia. Welcome, welcome. Oh, hope you feel better soon, Pam. I feel like I'm not dark enough at the bottom, so I am going to add a little bit of brown. So I just grabbed some brown with some of my green and some blue. Maybe a little more. And I'm going to make just a darker color. Maybe I'll even grab a little red. You can also use red to make your greens a little darker. See how I've added red in here, and it's much darker. We'll see how it goes onto the canvas. It just depends on the paint that you have. Oh, that's nice and dark. I don't want it too dark, but... And you can see sometimes I have my brush like this, and other times I have it turned vertical. Go up here, more green. Anyone using a fan brush to do this? I feel like the paper is extra curving tonight. Just because I told you it doesn't curve enough. I mean, lots. It's giving me a hard time. Bye, Pam. Take care. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to bring it closer so you can see all the lines. I missed some white. Now that I bring it closer, I can see it. See, you want to try and cover that. So to cover that, what I'm going to do is take a little bit more white with my yellow. And some green. So a little bit of white, yellow, and green. And I'm just going to do a few brush strokes back here so you don't see that horizon line. Oh, and it makes it a little lighter. Maybe I'll take that in there just to hide it a little bit more. Oh, I should have warned you. This painting does take a little bit longer than an hour. So if you only put an hour aside, you might have to finish it tomorrow. See how much lighter this one is? It's matte yellow here and green there. Mine is more yellow around here. I do want to bring in some yellow on this side. Not too much, just a little bit. And take this higher. All right, so we're going to let this sit and dry a little bit. Don't rush if you're not there. I'm going to keep going, but if you have questions, ask the questions. Either myself or someone in the group will answer for you. I'll try and go back when I see one. I'm going to start playing with some clouds, and this is just a dabbing, and I used a filbert brush to do it. It is just some light blue and white. So if they lower down, I make them a little bit more like a flatter little line, and then these ones will be more puffy. And I'm just going to play with a little bit of white and blue. Wet my brush, tap, tap. I'm going to pick up some white and blue. It's a really light blue color. And I'm first going to create the shape that I want my cloud to be in. I'm going to do one a little higher tonight. I'm going to go up here. I think it's going to go maybe something like this. See how I'm just dabbing? And at the bottom, I'm doing a little bit of a sweep, a roundness to it. And then I start dabbing again. Dab, dab, dab. And then the bottom part of the cloud, I do like a sweeping. And then dab, dab, dab. And we're going to come back and add more white to it. I like leaving a little bit of a, see the little blue spots in between? It's okay to leave that. It's all good. If you don't like it, you can cover it. I like to leave it. So you do one coat with the light blue. We're going to let it dry a little, and then we go back and add a little bit of white on top. And then I'll do something similar. It almost looks like the wind is blowing the cloud. So you've got the big lump of cloud here, and it's leaving a little bit of a trail back there. So I'm going to do another one a little bit lower down. Dab, dab, dab for the top. And the great thing with the filbert brushes is a little rounded, so it gives you those roundness. If you don't have it, if you have a round brush, you can do little, the same way I would sweep at the bottom, you can do these short little lines, but they won't kind of continue. I'd go in and do one at a time. But play a little. You can't, clouds are not always easy, and when we do it, to us it doesn't look like clouds, but to others they go, yeah, that works. Really soft with the tip of my brush, not a lot of paint. You can see that there's not a lot of paint here. Barely touching. Right? You guys breathing? Don't forget to breathe. I'm going to get rid of the blue and white. Do I paint from photographs? Yes, I do. I've seen some would enjoy to copy on canvas. Or is it more oh no, you can already start. I'll talk a little bit about it on how to do it. I've painted this with you last year, and it's one of my favorites. I was so proud of the fence post. And barbed wire, love the flowers. Oh, Ellen, that's so sweet. You should try it again and see how you would do it this year. I love my butterfly painting. I do it quite often. And there's some people that have done it with me 4 times. So it's so neat to see how they change it every time. So you can do it even with this one. Right, so now I'm picking up just white paint. I'm into the white paint, just dab so it's not too much of a lump. There's some white paint. And I'm going to go back on here and I'm going to add those extra little bits of white into the clouds, because we don't want everything to be extra white. We want it to have those darker little bits. So it looks moody. Tonight when I drove home from work, the sky was so moody. It was so neat to see. Just going to do it here. There we go. You can do more if you want to. Let's have a look, see what you like. If you've done too much, the great thing is with acrylic paint, you let it dry a little, mix some of the light blue again, go cover it up. Remember, we are here to have fun, not create our final piece or our masterpiece. We just want to think they're masterpieces. Fake it till you make it. Tell yourself, tonight I am an artist. See, I can't stop when I start. I'm going to leave that for my clouds. They're different. They're cute. It's almost dry. It's very sticky right now. All right. So sometimes it does curl a lot. I was talking earlier saying it doesn't, but tonight it's a little bit crazy. Oh, you can still see I can only see it with the light. I don't see it normally. But there you go. That's my clouds and my grass. And I feel like I could play here for a little bit longer, but because we have all these flowers going on top, a lot of this disappears. And if you have little spots that you think, oh, I wanted to cover that area, or I can see a brushstroke, we'll just slap a flower on there. It's all good. I got you. How are you guys doing? Are we moving on? Shirley, if you, what I do with photos is sometimes I'll print them out and I would use carbon paper and I would trace onto a clean sheet of paper the outlines of the mountains. Say you're doing a mountain scene with a river, and I'll draw the outline of the river. I'll draw some trees in, but on top of the printed photo, so that when I bring the drawing to the side next to the photo, you can better see the shapes. So when you start sketching it out, so I use a brush to sketch it out, you'd have your drawing that you did, and that will help you a little bit more with perspective, especially when you're a beginner. That would be my first step. And the next thing I would do is try and do a color match. So use the paint that you have. If you see a green, this tree is green, you start mixing colors, but very little. You'll see that when I mix colors, it's normally just a little bit at an area. And you start matching it to the photo and you do a base coat. So if you see a green tree, try and see what color is in there most and mix that. And then use a lighter or a darker to do the lighting and the shading. So then I'll do a base coat and then I'll do the details on top. That's how I paint from photos. The other thing to remember is things that's far away. They're smaller and less color. Like you can see here, we're going to start working on this now. See how this almost just fades away? And it does look like they're further back. When it's closer, there's more color and more detail. So even if when you're painting mountains and you can see all the rocks and everything on the mountain, you don't always have to paint it that detailed. You can tone it down a little bit or use a little bit of the color from the sky for the things that's far away. So try that. Let me know how it goes. All right. Are we ready to draw in the pillars? So I'm going to use some brown paint and just draw in these two poles here. This one is wider at the top and it kind of goes in here. This one it almost looks as if it's not as thick as this one. I can see the green on the side here. But you're going to do two poles. I'm going to use some brown to draw them out. And because this is so dark, I'm going to come closer. And what I do is they have, you can see the cut line, how it was cut. So I do a little oval and then I'll just do a line down. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. That's how I start. And I'm going to do this one here. I'm going to do a little bit more in, not right at the edge. So you can do it a little bit more in if you want to. Right here, a little bit higher. And then just two lines down. Little oval shape and two lines down. And to paint in the color, just my brown, I'm using my my burnt umber. I changed brushes to my small round brush. You can use a medium brush for this too. I'm just going to paint this in. And as I get more to the left, I start picking up some red in there, some yellow, and some white, just to give it some texture. Remember, the more you blend, the smoother the colors will be. So we don't want to do a lot of blending. We want to put the colors down and then go pick up some colors. I'm just picking up some red with my, maybe some yellow too, with the brown. And I'm going to start working that in here. So much lighter on this side and darker on that side. I used my burnt umber for the poles, Sandy. So my brown. Because this is still wet, I'm moving into the darker color and then out again to create those markings that make it look a little bit more like wood. At the top, I'm just rolling it. And that's my color. And you can go and add a little bit more white on this side. Maybe I'll add a little yellow in there. See all the textures in there? This shadow here almost looks like there's a dent in the pole because it's darker here and lighter there. And then this one, much lighter here. It's got a little bit of a highlight on top. It's got this darker line here so that you can see where it was cut off. See the mark here? Because you have a dark line here with a highlight on top, it looks like you can see where it was chopped off. So I'm just going to add a little bit of a highlight here. If your brown is not dark enough, you can add a little bit of black to it. Again, just do a test on your palette. And we'll do the same here. Darker. Hold your brush a little further back. And then I go into the lighter colors. I mixed up some red, some yellow. That's too much red, and some brown. It's not light enough, you can add a little white to it. Sometimes the colors look very strange on your palette, but they look great on the canvas. They add some texture, they add little highlights. And just depending on how you place those marks, it gives the wood a little bit more texture. I want to hide, see this dark line here? I want to hide that because the light would fall on there. With my shaky hand, a little bit of a highlight in here. I'm just rubbing at the top and then some darker around here. Be loose, try not to be too precise. Thank you, Angela. Love this. I'm so glad you love it. Painter's tape. This is just the light masking tape or painter's tape. So these work great for me. The green one is the best. I think it's called frog tape. I like that one the most. I do find that with the light colored one, this one, if you're working on cardstock, sometimes it tears the cardstock. So then your frog tape's a little better for that. But if you're working on canvas paper, the one that reads canvas paper, this does not tear it. Have a good sleep, Brenda. You're welcome. Don't rush if you are not here. I'm going to start talking about the flowers. Like I earlier said, those that are further away, less details, less color. Those that are closer to you, you want more details and more color. So when I do these little ones back here, sometimes I'll mix up the color. Oh, I want a different color. I am going to, this is really old paint. I'm using a different yellow. Oh, it's too old. It's not even coming out of the tube. Here's a different one. Let's see. It's still very bright. All right, so I'm going to use some yellow. I mixed in a little bit of red to make it a little bit more of an orangey color. I just don't want it to be too bright yellow. So I've got some yellow. I've got my small round brush. I'm going to roll it a little bit to the tip, like that. I'm going to start doing some dabbing. So up here, I'm going to do a little bit more of a push with the brush. So dab, dab, dab. And as I go further back, I would do really light dabs. So they need to be smaller and less color. So up front, I'll push a little harder. You can make them any kind of shape you want to. And then back here, I'll go a little bit lighter with the brush. So here, much more color. Back there, less paint. So as you run out of paint, then just move back there. And I like to do little clusters of colors together. So I'll do some yellow ones together. And then I love doing some white flowers in between. See how I have a bunch of white here, a bunch of white there, the bright yellow, a bunch of yellow. These are yellow. In between here are some whites and then some reds clustered together. Some reds, some reds. So I do these little clustered groups of color. Let's do some white ones. And I'm literally dabbing. Sometimes I go downwards. Sometimes I go sideways. They are, you're just making marks. Don't forget on the other side of the pole too. You are just making marks. It's just the idea of flowers. Some bigger ones, I'm just rolling my brush. So more color, a little brighter, a little bigger, closer to you. Oh, and you can do some in front of your poles too. Let's do two on this side. Let's do this one and maybe one lower, like that. Because they'll be everywhere. Do some red ones. When I do the red, I do some bigger blobs in the front here. And you'll find that with some red paints, they can be a little bit translucent. And with the green behind them, they are quite dark. But don't fight that, because that turns out to be just shadows on your on your flowers. And when I roll it like this, so I'm going round and round with my brush, the bristles are separating on this one, but I go round and round. So it's almost as if you're doing a shape like that with your brush. It will have more paint on the edges, and that turns it into a little flower. See the little shadow that it's formed at the bottom here? All of those little things just adds to your flowers. You might be using a craft paint that isn't see-through, so you can add a little bit of blue in there to make it darker. Maybe I'll put a red one in front of this pole. And now I'm running out of paint on my brush. I'm going to wipe more off, and I'm just going to dab with less paint a little further out. If you have too much paint, use your finger to pick up some of the color. If you don't want it to be too bright, just keep track. If you picked up once, wipe your finger and then go pick up the next one, because you might be spreading, unless it's enough paint to create another flower. Let's see how that works. Live and learn. We'll have to finish on the weekend. Take care, Raz. Roz, I keep doing that. I'm sorry. All right, so I got some flowers. I want some more red flowers. Are you guys breathing? You having fun? I have nothing here, so I'm going to do some white little dots here. I think I need some yellow flowers on this side. How's everyone doing? Are you guys good? When we do the barbed wire that goes around the pole, it's very black and you can hardly see it in some areas, especially down here. You're going to do it right over your flowers. And then we're going to start adding a little bit of white highlights on top of it. So if you don't see it, don't panic. We're going to come back and add some lines to it. So I have it's wrapped around twice here. When I do these lines, they are slightly curved. So you don't want them to be a straight line. So have a slight little curve in them, because that makes it look, gives your pole it makes it look round. Right. So slightly curved here, 2 lines, and then hold your brush a little further back and drag it, because wires are stiff, right? And they'll be bent because animals are jumping over, and you kind of pull them all the way here, and then you can do 1 or 2 lines here again, and then one that goes right off. And don't forget, if you have space here, to pull the wire that way too. Right, so 2 lines here. And then we come back and see these little white lines that you see on here. It just makes your wire pop a little bit more. And to add the little barb, the little line in there, I just do a little cross. So it's going to look something like this. And I do it with black and the highlights with white. So you're going to do your line like this. See the squiggles? My hand's shaking tonight. And then you do little crosses on your line like that. That's what it is. But they're quite far apart. They're about an inch apart, depending on the size of your canvas. But do them quite far apart. There's only 1, 2, 3 of those little barbs. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4 in between that space. So you don't want too many of those. Where is my black paint? And I am going to use a different brush. It is time for a new round brush. That one has seen better days. I'm going to use a newer brush, this one. It's just a round brush. I think this is also a size 4, a little bit smaller. Right, so I am picking up water into my black paint to thin it out. If you're painting with a heavy bodied acrylic paint, I put in some water, I roll my brush, and then I'm going to do 2 little curved lines. They don't have to be straight. Remember, it's wires. Hold your brush further back and just drag it over to this pole. Right, you're going to go right on top of your flowers. Here, and then go around this pole. You can do 2 wires or just 1, and then drag it off on this side. And remember to drag it out this side too. And then to do those little bits, it's just little crisscrosses that I do here and there on the wire. Nothing too fancy. Don't forget to breathe. And sometimes they don't even look like the cross. Oh, that's too many. Sometimes it just looks like little marks there. It's just the idea that there's something on the wire there. All right, let's do this one. And then with the black on my brush, I just do the centers of my poppies with black paint. And they're just little dots that I do right in the center of the flowers. You can do them a little bit higher, so it looks like you're looking from the side of the flower, but you're just seeing it at an angle. Literally just dabbing little centers on the flowers. I'm not going to do the ones back there, just these ones that's close up. And then plain white, pure white paint, I add little highlights, not everywhere, just here and there on the curves where the light will catch on the wire. My hand is shaking, so I have these little lines that have, I don't know if you can see it, like a little double in it. See, I can just laugh about it. I don't get mad anymore. I have accepted it's my fate. It's just how it is. I do here, I got one there, and see how it makes the wire pop out a little bit more just by doing that? I'm so disappointed in this line in the back. I didn't see it earlier, so from here I can't see it that well, but when I come closer and the light's on it, I can see it. I felt like I went really fast tonight. My flowers aren't that dark. They're really much lighter. There's the red flowers. If you feel your flowers are too dark, I use a brighter color, and make them a little brighter. So I'm picking up some orange. I'm going to mix it with my red to make a brighter red color. So add some red to my flowers. It's a little brighter. Maybe not even the whole flower, just little bits of it. And if you just do half the flower with the bright color, it just looks like there's a shadow on the other half. But that's your painting for tonight. Don't stop because I'm stopping. Do extra clouds if you want to. Normally when I'm done with the painting, I would go back to it and go and sit and add more grass in. I'd probably go and sit and play and fill up my little white horizon that I can see. You can add more flowers. If you want to, some of these bright white flowers, you can add a little bit of a center to them. If you want to do some birds in the sky, you can do that. I love painting birds. Let's do add some life to the painting. We got birds. See what I mean? Don't stop because I'm stopping. If you know how to paint a bird, you can put a bird right here or right there, or one on each. Thank you so much. Tape off. Okay, Frida, to see what it looks like. Sure, I can do that. Very easy to do. See how it doesn't tear? But if you use paper, like a cardstock, sometimes I find that the tape tears it off. And now I don't have to store another canvas. I just have this sheet of paper to store. And there you go. That's what it looks like. Neat, right? So I let this dry. Good idea. If you do this, before you start stacking your paintings, keep this to dry for at least a week or two, because the acrylic paint doesn't cure within 24 hours. It might dry on the surface, but it could still get sticky. So if you start stacking them, they're going to start sticking to each other. So acrylic paint needs to cure. So don't go and stack it immediately, but that's what it looks like. And normally on the back, oh, see how wild it was tonight? It's because I told you it doesn't, but it normally doesn't do this. I think there's something up with the way I painted tonight. But it's not bad, and it wasn't hard to paint on. But there you go. And it's great. There you go. You're welcome. Take care. Have a lovely week. I will see you next week. Please go check out the membership if you're interested in more classes like this one. Some of them were pre-recorded during live sessions, and others were recorded in my studio, so I spent a little bit more time. But you can watch them at your own pace. You can do them 3 o'clock in the morning if you want to. You can do them, have a friend over and have a paint night with your friend. But there you go. Thank you. Take care. And please come and share your paintings. I'll do a selfie on my Facebook page. I do normally do a selfie. Come and share your work. Come and see what others have done. Come and comment. If you don't want to share your work, come and comment about your painting experience. If you did take the night off, are you a little stressed? What's happening? Okay. Good night.